Macron announces recognition of Palestine at the UN General Assembly. Zelensky reports to Kellogg on counterattack near Pokrovsk and Dobropillia, and how airports in Denmark and Norway shut down as police hunt missing drones. The latest news next. France has officially recognized the Palestinian state, said the country's president Emmanuel Macron. The politician's words during his speech at the UN General Assembly in New York, reports French newspaper Le Monde.
This recognition is a way to confirm that the Palestinian people are not a superfluous people. On the contrary, it is a people that never says goodbye to anything. Recognizing the legitimate rights of the Palestinian people does not in any way limit the rights of the Israeli people, whom France has supported from day one, precisely because we are convinced that this recognition is the only solution that will achieve peace for Israel.
At the same time, he emphasized that France would be able to decide to open an embassy in Palestine only after the release of Israeli hostages held by the Hamas terrorist group in the Gaza Strip and the establishment of a truce. France's requirements for Israel will not be less than those of its European partners, the French president said, noting that the level of relations will depend on how the Israeli side fulfills the demands to end the war and negotiate peace. He also expects Arab and Muslim countries that have not yet recognized Israel to do so and maintain normal relations with it. The French president said he wants to launch a peace mechanism that meets the needs of all. He believes that the first stage of this plan should be the release of 48 hostages held by the Hamas terrorist group and the cessation of military operations in the Gaza Strip. The Hamas group will play no role in the future governance of Palestine, President Mahmoud Abbas says in a video address at the UN General Assembly session. The head of state of Palestine was forced to speak via video link since the United States did not grant him a visa for a personal visit to the UN headquarters. In his speech, Abbas clearly outlined plans for the future post-war order in Gaza. The key message of his address was the demand for full demilitarization and the removal of the radical Islamist group Hamas from power.
Hamas will have no role in governance. Hamas and other groups must surrender their weapons to the Palestinian Authority.
Palestinian president emphasized that the leadership of the Palestinian Authority seeks a single united state without weapons, a state with one law and one legitimate security force.
We stress our condemnation of the crimes of the occupation. We also condemn the killings and detentions of civilians, including the actions of Hamas on October 7, 2023.
At the end of his speech, the Palestinian president promised reforms and democratic elections within 1 year after the establishment of a ceasefire regime. According to Abbas, voting will take place under international supervision to ensure transparency and legitimacy of the results. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky held a meeting in New York with Trump's special envoy Kellogg. He briefed the general on the situation at the front, according to the president's Telegram channel.
I informed him about the situation at the front and the results of the counteroffensive operation near Dobropillia and Pokrovsk.
They also discussed the development of Ukraine-US cooperation. In particular, they talked about mutually beneficial agreements on drones and the procurement of American weapons which Kyiv proposed to Washington.
I am grateful to Kellogg for his support and assistance, and to U.S. President Donald Trump for his efforts to end the war and stop the killings.
Successes of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. Yesterday, Commander-in-Chief of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, Zelensky, reported further success of the Ukrainian army on the front. He stated that on September 21st, the Ukrainian Armed Forces regained control over 1.3 square kilometers and also conducted operations that located and eliminated enemy forces over 2.1 square kilometers in the Pokrovsk district of the Donetsk region. In addition, during the counteroffensive in the Dobropillia direction, the Ukrainian Armed Forces regained control over 7 settlements and cleared 9 enemy sabotage and reconnaissance groups. About a week ago, President Volodymyr Zelensky also reported that in the Sumy region, the Ukrainian armed forces are advancing toward the state border, while in the Kharkiv region, the enemy is suffering heavy losses. Zelensky in New York. The president of Ukraine, together with the Ukrainian delegation, arrived in New York to participate in the UN General Assembly session, the summit on the return of Ukrainian children, and the Crimea Platform Summit. The head of state stated that he has nearly 24 meetings scheduled during the visit. Some of these have already begun, and it is also known that today, September 23rd, Zelensky is to meet with the US President Donald Trump. In Denmark and Norway, airports were shut down overnight on Tuesday, September 23rd, due to the appearance of unknown drones. Police launched an investigation, but the drones disappeared, The Guardian reports. Because of the incidents, dozens of flights were delayed or cancelled, and some planes were diverted to alternate airports. In Copenhagen, where the largest airport in Scandinavia is located, takeoffs and landings were halted for nearly 4 hours. Operations resumed Tuesday morning when the drones left the area on their own. The investigation is being conducted by Copenhagen police together with intelligence services and the armed forces. Preliminary data suggests there may have been 2 or 3 large drones near the airport, but none were recovered. The police have launched an intensive investigation to determine what kind of drones these are, Copenhagen Police Deputy Assistant Commissioner Jacob Hansen said. A similar situation occurred in Oslo. At first, airport traffic was limited to a single runway, but later operations were completely suspended. Some flights were diverted to other cities, others were delayed. Around 4 in the morning, flights resumed. In connection with the illegal drone flights in central Oslo, police detained 2 people. Law enforcement in Denmark and Norway is cooperating to determine whether the 2 incidents are connected. The investigation continues. That's all for today. Thanks for watching this video. Support Ukraine, like and subscribe.